77% of high achievers consider themselves highly successful, yet a staggering 81% of them still feel utterly behind in life. You finally get the promotion, buy the dream house, or hit that monumental financial milestone. But instead of the pure, lasting bliss you expected, you just feel strangely empty. Why does getting exactly what you want often leave you feeling worse than when you were struggling to get there? Hello, I'm Dr. Arthur Sterling, and welcome back. Today, we are investigating the bizarre biological and psychological traps that actively hijack our sense of fulfillment. Is your brain actually wired to sabotage your happiness the exact moment you cross the finish line? We are going to uncover the unseen scientific forces turning your biggest victories into your heaviest burdens, and reveal a hidden psychological illusion that might be quietly ruining your life right this very second. Prepare yourself, because the truth about your success is definitely not what you think. 1. The Arrival Fallacy. The day after a massive victory often feels exactly like a regular, boring Tuesday. You push yourself to the absolute limit for years, fully believing that crossing that specific finish line will permanently fix your life. But when you finally get there, the magic vanishes almost instantly. This is not a character flaw. It is a documented psychological trap known as the Arrival Fallacy. The term was coined by Harvard-trained psychologist Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar to describe the dangerous illusion that reaching a specific goal brings lasting happiness. We operate under the assumption that success is a destination. We tell ourselves, once I make that amount of money, or once I secure that prestigious title, I will finally be completely satisfied. But the human mind does not work that way. To understand just how powerful this illusion is, look at one of the most famous psychological experiments ever conducted. In 1978, a landmark study examined people who had just experienced the ultimate financial fantasy. They had won the major lottery. Society tells us that sudden, massive wealth should instantly unlock a lifetime of pure joy. Yet, when researchers checked in on these lottery winners just 1 year after their windfall, the results were incredibly sobering. When asked to rate their everyday happiness on a scale from 1 to 5, the lottery winners averaged a score of 4. Meanwhile, regular people who had never won a dime rated their happiness at 3.82. Despite hitting the jackpot, the winners were barely any happier than your average person walking down the street. The arrival at ultimate financial success did not permanently elevate their mood. It just shifted their baseline. But the study revealed an even darker side effect of the Arrival Fallacy. The lottery winners actually found significantly less pleasure in mundane, everyday activities. Things like talking with a friend, eating a good breakfast, or reading a magazine suddenly felt dull. The winners rated their enjoyment of these simple pleasures at just 3.33, compared to the control group who rated them at 3.82. Because they experienced such an extreme spike in stimulation, ordinary life could no longer compete. The massive victory did not cure their unhappiness. It actively robbed them of the ability to enjoy the little things. This is the core danger of the Arrival Fallacy. When you tie your entire sense of self-worth and fulfillment to a single future event, you are setting a trap. You sacrifice your present well-being for a promised emotional payoff that simply does not exist. And the moment that realization hits you, standing right at the peak of your own success, is when the profound emptiness takes over. 2. The Hedonic Treadmill. If you have ever wondered why that life-changing promotion only made you happy for about 3 weeks, you can blame a ruthless biological mechanism called the hedonic treadmill. Your brain is not designed to keep you in a state of permanent bliss. Instead, it is wired to aggressively adapt to whatever new reality you throw at it, constantly pulling you back down to a stable, biological happiness set point. Think about walking from a freezing winter storm into a perfectly heated room. For the first 5 minutes, the warmth feels completely euphoric. But after half an hour, you do not even notice the temperature anymore. The room did not get colder. Your nervous system simply adjusted to the new environment. This exact same physiological process governs your success. When you double your income, buy a luxury car, or move into a bigger house, you experience a massive spike in joy. But almost immediately, the treadmill starts moving. Your expectations inflate to match your new reality. That new six-figure salary quickly transforms from a spectacular victory into just the bare minimum required to maintain your newly upgraded lifestyle. The thrill evaporates, replaced by the crushing realization that you need an even bigger achievement just to feel that exact same high again. You are sprinting at maximum speed, exhausted, constantly chasing the next milestone. But emotionally speaking, you have not moved a single inch forward. You are just running in place. And as it turns out, there is a specific chemical in your brain making sure you never actually catch what you are chasing. 3. Dopamine and the chase. We have all been fed a massive biological lie about dopamine. Pop psychology tells you it is the pleasure chemical, the ultimate reward your brain hands out when you do a good job. But your brain does not use dopamine to reward you for crossing the finish line. It uses it to force you to start running in the first place. Dopamine is not the chemical of happiness. It is the chemical of craving. It is the molecular engine of the chase. And once you understand how it actually works, the emptiness of your success makes terrifying sense. To see this ruthless mechanism in action, we look back at the groundbreaking 1990s experiments conducted by neuroscientist Dr. Wolfram Schultz. Schultz wanted to track exactly when and why our brains release this powerful chemical, so his team monitored the dopamine neurons in the brains of monkeys. The setup was brilliantly simple. The monkeys were placed in a room where a flashing light would suddenly go off, followed almost immediately by a sweet squirt of apple juice. Predictably, the very first time the monkeys tasted the unexpected juice, their dopamine levels absolutely skyrocketed. The brain registered a massive, surprising victory. But as the experiment continued, something strange happened. Over time, the monkeys figured out the pattern. They learned that the flashing light meant the juice was coming. As soon as the reward became predictable, the dopamine spike completely shifted. The monkeys experienced a massive surge of dopamine the exact second the light flashed. But when the actual juice hit their tongues, nothing. The dopamine neurons went completely silent. This mechanism is known in neuroscience as reward prediction error. Your dopamine neurons fire furiously for the anticipation, the pursuit, and the surprise of a reward. But the moment the outcome becomes a guaranteed certainty, the dopamine completely shuts down. The brain has already calculated the victory. It no longer needs to motivate you to pursue it, so it ruthlessly cuts off the neurochemical supply. This is the exact reason why achieving your ultimate life goal feels so incredibly anticlimactic. Think about the last time you chased a major promotion. 4 months, you stayed up late, obsessed over the possibilities, and strategized every single move. During that entire intense chase, your dopamine system was firing on all cylinders, flooding your nervous system with motivation because the outcome was still uncertain. You were staring at the flashing light, desperately waiting for the juice. But then the day finally arrives. Your boss shakes your hand and offers you the prestigious new title. You expect a tidal wave of pure euphoria. Instead, you feel almost perfectly numb. Why? Because the outcome was already expected. By the time you actually put your pen to the contract, your brain had already priced in the victory. The real dopamine spike happened weeks ago, when you realized you were probably going to win. At the actual finish line, your reward system is dead quiet. We are biologically wired to deeply crave the pursuit of success, but we are completely unequipped to enjoy the possession of it. Your nervous system treats a completely predictable victory as old news. It immediately starts looking around, desperately scanning the horizon for the next uncertain challenge, the next flashing light. You are not broken or ungrateful for your achievements. You are simply operating a mammalian brain that was perfectly designed to keep you permanently hungry, no matter how much of the world you have already conquered. 4. How to find happiness. So, if your brain is actively punishing you for crossing the finish line, how do you ever actually enjoy your life? If every promotion, every zero added to your bank account, and every monumental victory just resets the trap, the solution is not to stop trying. The solution is to completely rewire how you define the game. You have to stop chasing the possession of success and start weaponizing the pursuit. Most high achievers treat their daily work as a miserable toll they have to pay to eventually buy a ticket to a happier future. You tell yourself, once I sell this company, once I hit that specific financial milestone, or once I finally get that corner office, then I can relax and be happy. But as we have firmly established, that future paradise is a complete biological illusion. To find actual, sustainable joy, you must ruthlessly detach your self-worth from the final outcome. The outcome is simply a compass bearing. It gives you a clear direction to walk, but the compass itself is not the destination. The ultimate secret to beating your own neurochemistry is to fall unconditionally in love with the daily process. Remember, your dopamine system is a relentless engine of motivation. It deeply craves the uncertain, the challenging, and the unfinished. If you only allow yourself to celebrate when you cross the ultimate finish line, you get one tiny, fleeting spike of satisfaction before the inevitable emptiness sets in. You are essentially starving your brain of joy for years, just for a 5-minute high. But if you shift your reward system to celebrate the effort, the daily puzzle solving, and the incremental progression, you are essentially hacking your brain's circuitry. You provide it with the continuous, sustainable chemical fuel it was perfectly designed to process. Think about a master carpenter building an intricate custom dining table. If his only goal was simply to own a piece of furniture, he would just go to a store, buy one, and be done with it. But a true craftsman does not just want the table. He actively craves the challenge of sanding the raw wood, the precise geometry of cutting the joints, and the quiet, focused rhythm of the physical labor itself. The beautiful table is just a natural byproduct of his daily joy. This is exactly how you step completely off the treadmill. You must make the work itself the primary reward. How do you actually implement this tomorrow morning? Start by fracturing your massive, overwhelming goals into tiny, daily behavioral systems. Instead of obsessing over making your first $1 million, obsess over mastering the art of a single client conversation. Instead of staring at the scale, desperately waiting to lose 50 pounds, learn to genuinely enjoy the physical exertion and discipline of your morning run. When the daily action becomes the victory, the crushing anxiety of the future completely disappears. You are no longer waiting for some grand future permission slip to be happy. Success does not make you happy because human beings were never designed to possess the prize. We were built to thrive in the pursuit. Stop staring blindly at the finish line. Stop waiting for a future that will only leave you feeling completely empty, and start finding profound, lasting joy in the beautiful, and infinitely challenging pursuit of today. If this video helped you understand your own mind a little better, please leave a like and subscribe for more deep dives into the psychology of a life well lived. Until next time, keep moving forward, but learn to love the road.